Welcome to the Fourth Down Experience, the podcast devoted to special teams. Your host of the Fourth Down Experience, former pro free agent, 9-year professional kicking coach out of the Midwest, Coach Chris Husby. Alongside Coach Chris Husby is a former 2-time Arena Bowl champ, 9-year pro kicking coach, repping the South, Coach Brian Jackson.
What's up, guys? Brian Jackson here. I'll let these guys introduce themselves.
Hey, what's up? Chris Husby here, co-host with Brian on the Fourth Down Experience podcast. Excited to have you guys here. We're trying something different where we are live streaming with an NFL specialist, and we're breaking down their favorite kicks of their career and getting a kind of an inside-the-mind look on what they were thinking during these plays. So today we got Cairo Santos on. Welcome to the Fourth Down Experience podcast live stream.
Thanks, guys. It's a pleasure to talk to you guys live. And we spoke on the phone a few times, so it's an honor. I'm a big fan of you guys' page. I've been following Coach Brian since college, so we've been exchanging words ever since. And it's a pleasure, and hopefully get to break down some kicks here.
Yeah.
Cairo, before we get into the kicks here, what's going on with you these days? Where are you at? What's the next chapter for you? Are you still kicking, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, where it's been my home for the past 3 years, and I went to high school down the road in St. Augustine. So just, like a free agent, it's my first year, not starting the NFL season with the team. So just a different kind of gear that you have to run. Typically we'll be, aside from this pandemic that we're in, you would be starting OTAs right about now and kind of getting workouts with the new teammates. So just being as a free agent, getting ready for a workout here that can pop up anytime, just kind of have to stay ready mentally and physically, doing the sort of the more of a off-season routine that I normally do in the summer when we get a month off from OTAs going into training camp. It's sort of an off season, but not really, because you have a month and a half off, but you're going into such an important time, which is training camp. And I'm kind of taking it as like now and just staying ready because a workout could come anytime. So definitely want to get back into it. Just strange to be in this side of it, but looking forward to the process.
I'm just curious, since NFL teams really can't meet in person and you're trying to prepare for potential tryout, or do you try to create film, like uncut film, send it to your agent and he sends it out? Like, how do you sort of showcase yourself in the off season, or is there a way to do it?
Yeah, that's sort of a territory that I haven't been in, that we haven't really needed. A few times in my career when I was released by a team and kind of wanted a team was calling to see how I was physically because of the injuries that I've had, we sent film of my latest workout with the date and uncut film, and they could see, okay, like he's hitting the ball good, let's get him in the facility and see it in person. So that's happened before, but now I'm not really putting a film together yet, but that could be part of the process, with, especially like you said, we can't go in and work out at NFL facilities right now. So it's definitely, I think, a time that all the free agents are just on pause, just waiting to see when this thing can get back to normal.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's lead right into the kicks here. So Cairo, before we play it, maybe just kind of talk about this game. If there was any stakes in the line, or if it was just a generic game or a rivalry game, what's so special about this particular game that you picked?
Yeah, so I think this is my my number one favorite kick in the NFL. It's an iconic kick, for the Chiefs fans. I'm sure they remember that. I believe it was a Sunday night. It was either I guess if it was NBC, it would have been Sunday. But it was obviously a division game against the Broncos at their place, and the game went into overtime. And this is the game winner here. You see the time, the clock is at 5 seconds. It stopped at 5 seconds, so it's not winding down. But it's the last play of the game. And I remember how it started. McManus and I traded a couple kicks. He made one, so I had a 38-yarder to tie the game. That probably felt more pressure than this one, because if you missed that one, the game's over. And I knew that one, worst it could do is tie, which is kind of weird for everyone. But that one I thought was more pressure. And then they got the ball. McManus tried like a 63-yarder that went just left. And so we got the ball in good position. I think completed a pass to Kelsey right in the middle and drove down and set up for that 34-yarder. And so I knew, obviously, that I could have a chance to win the game here. So I left hash. The wind is kind of going. It's helping a little bit, but such a short kick, I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. But it's going to the right. So I played it a little bit left, probably just left center. And I think with the adrenaline and being at Mile High, the ball kind of gets through quicker and sort of to the goalpost quicker. I pulled it a tiny bit, and I guess, Coach, if you want to play it out, we'll see what happens here. But it's pretty special.
All right, we should be able to hear the audio on this too. So interesting.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy that hit the left upright and he went all the way across just inside the right one. And I was actually, from my perspective, I was able to see that he went in. It's kind of the ball passing behind the post, but I couldn't see the referee's reaction. So it's kind of it's a pause for everyone. And I actually have a great picture that I have right here behind me.
Let's see it.
It's I guess I can't really zoom out.
Oh, that's the play right there, huh?
Yeah,
that's
so I see that the kick went in and kind of celebrate, but Dustin, the holder kind of, because he's even lower than I am, he couldn't really see the referees, so he thought I missed it.
That is like awesome. That look at this, just ricochet. I mean, doink. It does show the angle you're talking about, and then there's the referee right there with his hands up. Right here. But so Colquitt, obviously from his angle, he's on the ground. He can't see the refs, so that's interesting.
And half of our line thought I missed it too. So they'd turn around, went like that, and then hear the crowd or whatever they saw, celebrating, and then turn and see the referees like that. So it was.
So this is your opposition. Here's your teammate. This guy, it looks like he actually thought you. Looks like he probably thought you missed. No, he thought you missed it.
Yeah, I thought I missed it. So Demetrius Harris, the tight end, there, I think at that time he thought I missed it too.
So Cairo, at what point in the season was this game? And was there anything on the line? Obviously, you need a win. Wins are valuable in the NFL, but at what point in the season was this game?
So I remember it was late because it was chilly. If I probably was, I remember actually because it was early November.
Okay.
Because then the following week, I had another game winner that was like right after my birthday. My birthday's November 12th, so it must have been first week of November. And so, it's still not really the playoff push yet. But anytime you're playing division opponent, you want to rack up those wins.
So as you're lining up for this kick, what's going in your head? Do you got a thought process, some little verbal cues you tell yourself, or what do you think about when you think about oh, this is a game winner?
I just kind of stick to my routine, the same routine that you're seeing us do here on the field. If you, Coach, you can rewind back a little bit. I pick my spot. Winchester the snapper, he kind of waits for me to start taking my steps over, because I sort of take my time back there. He doesn't want to be, as you guys know, just with your head low for that long of a period. So I kind of stick with that routine right there, and that just puts me in that mindset that it just feels like practice, since I do this over and over again, every rep. Even when I'm out there by myself in the field, I follow the same routine, and it just kind of clicks right into like a mindset that you just so focused and you know exactly what to do. So just go through that, and at that point, just give a nod to the holder, and he goes for the cadence, and so just kind of do it so many times that it definitely feels fast out there, like something I've always. If it's such a rush that the moment you get called, for a field goal, you run onto the field and you go through your routine, kick the ball. It always feels like a blur, It just, but you remember every second of the process during it, but after it's just like, oh wow, that was a rush. So it's such a special thing to go through.
Do you hear the crowd when you're in this moment, or do you hear like the defense yelling at you, trying to get in your head?
I just hear a noise. Like you don't really. It's like it's so constant that I think it'd be worse if like people in your ear saying different things and kind of taking your attention different directions. But when it's just like a crowd like that gets higher and higher, and that's a pretty loud stadium. I think I've gotten used to it over the years, that you just doesn't bother you anymore. You hear the crowd, but you don't really pay attention to it.
Right. Just curious, because we talk about ball tilt and ball lean, and we've heard a lot of great things with all you guys at the NFL level and even other various leagues. But, it looks like a pretty solid, tilt to the right towards the holder here. Have you noticed the ball tilt like in pictures and videos, or have you always been kind of like, hey, give me a nice little tilt towards you, or is this just the angle that we're located at?
I think can we go back to when he catches it to
Sure.
see if he had to? I guess you can't see a whole lot,
Yeah.
but yeah, I normally like a little tilt. That's probably a little more than I like. Maybe is the angle.
Maybe the
But
angle, yeah.
I do like it forward quite a bit. That's just my thing. So maybe the angle that it looks like, it's probably a little more up and upright. That's what I like it. Just slight tilt, but forward for sure. So maybe the forward gives that seems like it's more tilted.
Nice. Well, this is a pretty fun kick. Let's move on to the next one here. All right, so let's go on to the second clip here. And maybe tell us a little bit. All right, Cairo, kind of set us up for this game. Where is it located at? Was there a lot on the line, or what was the importance and significance of this particular game?
So for me, it was more of a personal significance. I remember this was my rookie year, my first game winner in the NFL, and I started my first two games shaky. I made a kick and missed a kick, made a kick and missed a kick. So it was still so early in my career that I think I needed something to spark that, like he is the Chiefs kicker. Because I still think I had a lot to prove, especially replacing a guy that did so well for the franchise in Ryan Suckup. So I think a lot of eyes were on me, okay, like, what can this kid do? And I didn't start my best, and then kind of slowly picked up a couple good kicks here and there. So I think this might have been like game 6 of the year or something. And it was a 48-yarder against, I think we were tied. So against the Chargers back in when they were in San Diego, and there's still probably 20 seconds on the clock. I don't think we can see it. But it wasn't the last play of the game, but it was just about. And right hash, which is where I always liked, if we had the chance to drive down and pick a hash, I always told my coaches right. So they did that for me there, and just turned out to be sort of a long kick there. And I remember they called a timeout, tried to freeze me, and it's kind of a little nugget in there in this kick that a lot of kickers like to try, and even coaches, they ask you to if you got a chance to hit that ball, hit it just to use it as a practice, especially that the wind was pretty heavy in my face and going to the left, so I try to favor more near the right upright and just hit the cleanest as try to cut the ball to sort of stay straight as I can. But how it all turned out, it was I think the ref blew the whistle pretty early, and then James snapped the ball, and I decided not to kick because I felt it was like it would have been so blatant, that we're trying to get a practice kick in. Sometimes it's like you want to get those in right at the whistle or something. And so I didn't kick, and then Coach Tobe was like, "Man, come on, like kick it, like use it as a practice." And I remember I just felt so confident. It was like, like the mindset that I went into that kick, I didn't want to see it another kick. It was just like, I know exactly what I need to do. And I probably caught a little bit more on my toe than I wanted. So it kind of started right, but the wind kind of helped it back in, and it went in exactly where I wanted it to go in at that right center. So kick that helped me kind of it propelled my rookie season, and I finished having a good year and kind of became the Chiefs kicker after that kick.
Nice. So obviously a big kick to kind of just prove herself as a young guy, and 48 yards, still no gimme.
Mm-hmm.
And as Colquitt said here, or even not Colquitt, but the gentleman that did this video on you, and actually Colquitt did say that you tend to draw a little bit right to left action. So let's run it through. Nice. So what was the Portuguese comment there? So I understand. I know Chris probably knows it, but I want to learn it.
Yeah. So I think a few weeks after I made the team, and then Mitch Holthus, the announcer for the Chiefs, who has an awesome voice. He really likes to know every single player's past and history, to kind of add things when he's announcing and commentating the game. So he told me, he's like, "Hey, your first game winner, I'm going to say the kick is good. How do you say the kick is good in Portuguese?" So I told him, "O chute é bom." So that's literal, the kick is good. And then it kind of came, it's funny because I got on Twitter after the game, and people were saying, like, the announcer did he just say something in a different language? Because I don't know what he was trying to say. And then people in Brazil were like freaking out that he said something that sounded like the kick is good in Portuguese.
Yeah, let's hear it again.
Yeah.
That's awesome that he cares enough to get to know the players, and tries to pull in the cultural elements to try to enhance the moment. So that's real cool to hear that.
Hey, Cairo, talk about your block team here, your protection team here. I mean, they really did a nice job.
Yeah, they came after. They see that on the left side they came pretty good at 72. Eric Fisher, San Diego always had a really good unit, and man, but that's solid right there. The guys lock in pretty quick, and as long as you get the ball up, I trust that they're not going to get too much depth from the middle. That if I just get the ball up, and I shouldn't worry about it. So pretty solid. And you see the guys, you see 87 on the right, not really in play to try to block, but still finishing the play. Him and 61, I think it was Mitch Morse.
It's like, what are these DBs doing trying to jump like this early? I mean, that's kind of funny seeing both guys in the end here try to jump.
Maybe he was thinking Travis was going to be a little lower and try to jump off his arm, but I think Travis caught on really quick and gave him a little poke there. You see guy on the left side doing it too with the dreads. He's trying to jump off the arms.
These guys did a really good job with their inside out protect, and this guy
Mhm.
even did a good job forming this C right here. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, that's solid right there. It's
nice, easy steps, and just super foot to ball. Look at that leg lock on your end, and keeping the eyes down at contact, and letting your leg and hip do the work.
Yeah, I try to kind of stay, I think, as straight as I could, just trying to hit the cleanest ball and cut it a little bit, just to kind of spin it more and have it fly straighter, because I was worried, me being more of a drawer, that the left wind would take it. So I try to kind of emphasize that. So I probably stood more upright than I wanted, but the results, all that matters. So
that was a beautiful kick.
Yeah.
All right, so in this last clip, what I want to do is I want to just play the reactions of the two coaches here first, just for fun. And I don't think Chris has seen this, so it'll be interesting, Chris, to see what you think is going to happen.
Okay.
So what do you think happened, Chris?
Probably a fake, I would guess. I don't know that. I mean, they're both on the same team and they give a different reaction. So I'm going to guess a fake play.
All right, let's watch it.
Ah, nice. How much of that was planned or was that a fire play?
This needs to be a meme.
Yeah, that was just a botched operation, both ways, I guess you could say, because so to give you guys the full details, it was a 39-yarder that I made, and this was like fourth quarter. We're probably had 4 minutes left against the Raiders, and late in the season, winning by a touchdown. So I made the kick, 39-yarder, and I think Kelsey on the right had a face mask penalty that drew us back 10 yards. So now it's a 49-yarder, cold, and winning the game. So maybe let's not take the risk. And we're still on the field, and the ref just kind of backed this up and kind of rolled right through. And then our special teams coach from the sideline gave me and 42, our sidelines here to our left, and gave me and 42 the signal for a play that we're going to run, which is a direct snap to the kicker. And since there's no returners back there and we don't want to risk, let's play the field position, and it's too much of a short field for Colquitt, direct snap to the kicker. I punt it down inside the 10, and we survived the game. So, but it's kind of like that telephone game that you play as a kid that I forgot the names. It's like you tell somebody a phrase and then you pass it on to everyone, and then the last person never really gets it. I think that's what 42 passed it to the first guy, that's the second guy, and it didn't get to the snapper. So James snapped like it was a field goal. Me and Dustin knew about it, and so he snapped it like a field goal. I'm over here. You can see me looking at James, waiting for the ball, but then I see it going to Dustin, the holder, and so I kind of paused and freaked out, like, oh my God, what is he gonna do? And Dustin he was quick to realize, I got the ball, Cairo, kick it. But I didn't know if I should kick it because we're late. So I just stopped, and then I see two monsters coming at Dustin, and I didn't know if he was going to call fire. So he just flipped it at me, got tackled. I had, I think, a very good QB awareness in the pocket there to realize that in that fire call, my wing is going to roll out, which is the fullback, number 42. I completed my first NFL pass, 100% completion rate right there for 3 yards. He rolls gets 3 yards and we fall short of the first down. So that was a bummer there, but such a chaotic moment that not many kickers get to complete a pass and still survive and not lose the game. So that was something that I'll always remember. And the big gloves, you can see when it's cold like that in Kansas City, I always wore gloves that could probably fit 2 of my hands in there.
Is this a D lineman or a linebacker? What position player is this?
What number is he?
90 something.
31.
31.
That looks like a linebacker, huh? Or
maybe a strong safety or something.
Yeah, but oh my gosh,
he looks pretty big.
So Cairo, without divulging exactly what was said, what's the first thing the coach what's the feeling when you get off the sideline or onto the sideline and they talk to you about what happened?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is like, what happened? And Dustin and I both go to James and it's like, did you hear the call? And he's like, no, what call? And so we're going to run the play that I punt the ball. And he's like, no, I never heard anything. So I just snapped like a field goal. So special teams coach knew exactly. I mean, he understood. I mean, there's one thing I think is if everybody gets the call from the sideline and you go on the huddle and then you go on and execute it, that we had probably 10 seconds from the time I make a field goal, we get the penalty and realize that now we got to come up with another execution of another plan. And just in that time, half of the team didn't get the call. So it's understandable. And we didn't really get in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. I mean, we definitely would love to do this again, maybe in a couple more months if there's a few other clips that you want to do, maybe even pull out some Tulane footage. It would be cool to do this every once in a while. And obviously we hope that everything goes well on your end and your family with COVID-19 and we can't wait to see, where you're playing at, whether it's a stadium with no fans or social distancing fans. We just hope that there's a season. We hope that you're kicking somewhere because we always love watching you and we love following your journey, Cairo.
Thank you very much. And it was an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys again. I wish you guys all the best, and I wish, all the kickers that we're going to see this the best too, and stay safe. Keep working. You can always go on your own with not people around you and to a field and get better. When we're all going to come out of this, I think always learning a little bit about ourselves, right? Protecting our families or elderly. Sorry, my dog's going nuts right now.
That's the Zoom life these days.
I know, right? Come here. Oh, now you want. Sorry.
That's all good.
We're going to have to cut this for sure.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, see you guys.
Thanks for being on, Cairo. Obrigado, and good luck.
Obrigado. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
All right, later.
Thank you for listening to the Fourth Down Experience. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fourth Down Experience.